Now, fella, let me tell you something. In Nigeria, Netflix will not be anymore. You know, Nigeria makes some of the best movies in Africa, and Netflix decided not to sponsor Nigeria anymore. I'm sure you've seen many Nigerian movies on Netflix. They look quite nice. Some of them, not all of them. At least in the beginning, they were looking very nice until something happened. So, in Nigeria, Netflix has retracted. They had a meeting where they invited a lot of people. Then during that meeting, they said, listen, we're not going to be sponsoring your movies anymore. So Nigeria will not be sponsored anymore of the movies. Why? Because Netflix has realized that the money they give into Nigeria to make movies is not being spent in making movies. So the producer or the director will take about $1 million or $1,500,000 from Netflix. Netflix gives you money prior. Here's money. Go do a project. Bring us a good movie. They will give this director money, and the director will use 90% of the money to buy a house, buy a car, get a whatever, fix his life, and only 10% of the money to make the movie. And obviously, people are not stupid. People who know the cinema industry. When they give you $1 million to make a movie, and you bring them a movie made out of $10,000, they can see it. Because it looks stupid. You bring a couple of cameras you rented by the neighborhood and a few actors that you're going to pay $20 each. They can see it.
There was a lot of money in the movie industry. When the streaming platforms came in, they gave money to these producers. And I'll tell you, point blank, these producers will take the money, $1.5 million or whatever they give them. They use about 10% of that money to make the movie. They are listening. They cannot deny it. I cannot call names, but you know yourself. So when you do that and you expect your movie to be 100%, it can't. It's impossible. Once you're giving $1.5 million to make a movie, at least use everything. But these guys, they will buy houses, buy cars, and it will show. And that's why when you see our movies, some of our epic movies look like stage plays.
And they've messed it up for everybody. So Netflix has pulled out. Netflix has invested about $23 million in the Nigerian film industry since 2016. $23 million. Just imagine, for many years, all of these people will try to create their own movies, hoping that it makes it out there. You have a company that's willing to give you millions of dollars to make movies. You don't spend money out of your pocket. Just bring your talent. You take the money and you spend it buying your house, buying cars, looking rich. Then you take little of the money, you go make a stupid movie. Netflix is a standard when it comes to movie. There are specific cameras you have to use. These cameras are expensive. They're flagship cameras. They're high cameras. There's some red cameras. Very expensive. They cost about $50,000, $100,000. Not the entire camera, a piece, because cameras take pieces and pieces. One piece costs $100,000. The other piece, where you can only look, costs $20,000. They give you $1,500,000. You take the money, you use fake cameras or very cheap cameras, it's sad. That's you taking a gun and shooting yourself on the foot. Now, all these are the prosperous or hopeful creators, hopeful directors. Their dreams is ruined because a bunch of guys, a bunch of thieves from Nigeria have taken this brand new, beautiful opportunity that was given to them by Netflix, and they've messed it up for their own interest. This is what's destroying Africa. Zero credibility. It's sad that the bad news coming from one side. It's sad. Where are you going to get another Netflix? Well, Netflix needs you to produce good quality movies. Why? Because of the competition. There is Prime. There is Disney. There is, I don't know what other things they have to compete with. Therefore, they give you money. It's an investment. They trust you to go and work hard and produce a good movie that people are going to watch. Well, you take the money, you spend it on buying stuff. You think Netflix is mumu. My friend, you are the mumu. It's you, the mumu.
Boy, now mumu not too much. You be mumu. You think say they wise?
Because you're not getting any of that money anymore. It's very sad that this community, they give you opportunities. Only you mess it up. You mess the opportunities they give you. People of Southern Africa, okay? Let's take South Africa and Namibia. Used to go to Canada with no visa. They used to go to Ireland with no visa until Nigerians came to Southern Africa, started marrying South Africans and Namibians. And what they did was they will marry you, and after 5 years, they get a passport, then they will use that passport and go to Canada. Okay? And then leave the woman behind and go do Nigerian things in Canada. What happened later on? Canada canceled the visa-free visa for Namibia. Canada canceled the visa-free for South Africa. Now South Africans need visas to.
Logically, it's been confirmed that most or many of our Nigerian brothers that are married in South Africa or having long-term relationships with our Jolofinas, our sisters, they are also married in Nigeria.
Because most of these guys, they are married back home or they have girlfriends or whatever. There's just something with people from back home.
My brothers, this is sad, and I'm sorry. Don't tell me you coming for you don't hate. No, we're telling the truth. Am I inventing anything here? We are telling the truth. We're not inventing or creating any story here. We're just telling the truth. It's sad. Who doesn't know Nollywood? Who has never watched Nollywood? We used to sit down watching that Karashika, Queen of Lucifer, Queen of Karashika. That we all watch that. A lot of African nations look up to Nigeria when it comes to Nollywood. Until Nollywood, we actually thought Nollywood was going to blow. Until we realized at some point they were not willing to invest more money into these movies because everybody just wanted to eat. It's not about the quality. It's about let me find a way to eat and maximize. It's very sad. I mean, it's very sad that Netflix has to say, no, we are not dealing with the Nigerians anymore. We're done with that. Do something about it. Do something about it, my brothers. We like you. We like the courage. You're very brave. Nigerians are very courageous. Okay? They like it big. They'll do anything to make it up there. But you can't sacrifice everybody behind you as you're trying to make it up there. You could get a contract for $1,500,000. You make a movie about $1 million. It looks nice. You get another contract. And this time they're going to give you $2 million because they see you've done good. You know how much money they give these other people to make movies? It's a lot of millions. Now what they've said is for a Nigerian movie to be broadcast or bought, you go, you find your own money, okay? Film your own movie, right? Once you get your own movie ready, then you can bring it to us. We'll evaluate, we'll look at it and see if it meets the Netflix standard. You've just made it hard for yourself. I don't know what to say, okay? To be honest with you, Africa has a lot of problems. But some side of Africa has more problems than others. And unfortunately, one side of Africa can bring everybody down. You know, I'm going to tell you a story. Okay? You know, a lot of Africans go overseas looking for a better life. You know, they say they're refugees. The majority of Africans come from countries of war. It's just crazy. Either somebody's trying to unalive them or they say something the politics doesn't like. Now their family is in danger. Others even lie that they are, you know, men with other men in order to get residency in other countries. Yes, people lie. They go and say, no, my country rejected me because I like other men. Therefore, I'm, you know, scared for my life. They want to unalive me. And they do that so they can get residency in foreign nations. They will do that in Britain, in France, in Belgium, in the US. They lie for most cases. Even pastors lie. I don't know, then they go open churches in foreign nations. What are you going to preach? Because you attend your residency illegally by lying, then you come talk about Jesus. But you don't want to talk about Jesus in your village. It's crazy. You don't want to talk about Jesus in your village, but you want to talk about Jesus in the white man's country. You say God sent you to talk about Jesus. Anyway, now, there was a situation where people in Great Britain went to the Home Affairs office, I don't know what you call that place, where they got money every week, I believe, for support. You know, if you left your country as a refugee of war, you could go to this office, I forgot the name of it, and you will get wages. They will pay you some money at the end of the week. So you can, it's like a salary. It's like your salary divided by 4, you get by the end of the week. So people benefited from that. A lot of people, refugees and stuff, they will go and the government will give them money and they will live their lives. And someday, some lady from the Congo, DRC, she would go get the money from this office. But she had been in the UK for quite some time. She would drive a big car, a massive car. Apparently it was a Hammer H2, I believe. It was Hammer H2, remember. Her as a refugee come to this office that helps people with the Hammer H2. And you know, Congolese people like gold. They wear earrings in gold and bracelets in gold. And You know, Congo's culture of dressing up is just crazy. They love dressing up, very colorful and stuff like that. It's part of the culture. And the lady will go with gold and hammer H2, parked outside, go into the refugee's office, getting her wages, some money for the week. You know, at the end, what happened? At the end, the ladies in the refugee office, these British people said, Madam, sorry, we can't give you money anymore. I mean, you look richer than us in our country, but you're supposed to be a refugee. What is going on? Please explain to us. It's crazy. Then they eventually stopped. That's when they started scrutinizing everybody else. And that is not the only thing. You know, in Britain, people could get houses for free somehow, or very cheap price. And they would rent the second house, like one house in London, then the second house in Leeds. They would rent the second house and live in one house in both their names. Then until later, the Indians do it too up until now. One African didn't like another African and went to accuse that African to the British office, saying, you know what they do? They get two houses, one in London, one in Leeds. The house in Leeds, they will put, for rent, and they earn money from you government and from Leeds. That is when the government of Britain stopped doing that. So Africans in most cases are their own enemies. You are not transparent. You lie. You steal. It's sad. The world is watching, fellas. Let's go to Mozambique. This is Mozambique. So the Nigerians don't feel bad. Okay? They're not alone. In Mozambique, the former finance minister has been sentenced to an extra 2.5 years in prison in a United States of America court for his role in the tuna bond scandal triggered the financial crisis in Mozambique. So a former finance minister of Mozambique has been condemned and being sentenced for an extra 2.5 years after doing 12 years in prison already for stealing money. How much money did they steal? They stole about $2 billion. You're probably asking yourself, how is this guy being sent in jail in America? Well, investors were Americans. They sent the money to Mozambique through this finance minister to start a project, the tuna bond. Now, this project included buying equipment for fishing, and many investors put money together. The money went to Mozambique. Out of $2 billion, Manuel Cheng, 69 years old, was convicted last year of accepting payoff to put his homeland secretly on the hook for about $2 billion in loan from major overseas banks. A federal judge in New York on Friday sentenced Cheng to 8.5 years in prison. It's actually 8.5 years, including nearly 6 years he already served behind bars in the US and South Africa, where he was arrested in 2018. So this person is now saying, sorry, please forgive me. This is what he said. He said, I deeply regret the damage I have caused. I am sorry. Cheng was Mozambique's top finance official in 2005 until 2015, when he signed off a loan that was supposed to pay for tuna fishing fleet and shipyard, Coast Guard vessel, and other maritime projects for the Southern African country. So they wrote a project asking for money for tuna fishing fleet, shipyard, Coast Guard vessels, and they took the money, they embezzled it. America has some contract with some Southern African nation. If you do something wrong, they're going to send you to America. So they took the ex-finance minister and sent him to the United States to be judged in the US. Okay, you're probably asking yourself, why would Africans do that to another African? Well, he's a thief. Isn't that how you deal with thieves? So they can stop thieving. That project was supposed to change people's lives. Many people's lives. But because of selfishness, they took the money and they embezzled the money. Therefore, America lost money through the investors and they got him sent to jail. And now the guy says he's been suffering, he's got diabetes and stuff like that. They should feel sorry for him. He's suffered enough. Should they let him out? Or should they let him rot in there? The reason why Africa is not moving forward is that people are not honest. People are liars. They are lovers of money. Greed. Just like the Nigerian. Greed. Greed. You want everything. You want to finish it. $1.5 million to make a movie. You finish everything. You think people are stupid. Then who's the mumu? You are the mumu because now you're going to Mumudiv. I'm sorry. I don't know how to feel about this. This is very sad. Have you seen the South African Netflix movies? The South African movies on Netflix. High-end, beautiful, beauty, very close to Hollywood. It doesn't look like it's in a bush. because they're spending the money on the movies. I'm sorry. Something has to change.